Ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin by asking you a simple but powerful question. How many of you are tired of being average? How many of you are done settling for just enough when deep down you know you were created for greatness? Because the truth is, average doesn't pay well. Average doesn't create legacy. Average doesn't change your family tree. But fortune comes to those who are willing to rise above the crowd and take responsibility for their destiny. So today, I'm going to share with you 5 steps to go from average to fortune. And if you lean in and take these to heart, your life will never be the same again. Let me ask you a question that might just change everything for you. What if the only thing standing between you and the life you desire is the size of your belief? Most people never get to experience fortune, not because they lack opportunity, not because they lack intelligence, not even because they lack resources, but because they suffer from one crippling limitation. They think too small. Belief is the thermostat of your destiny. If it's set on average, your results will always be average. If it's set on abundance, your life will rise to abundance. You don't get what you want. You get what you believe you deserve, what you believe is possible, and what you believe is available to you. Think about it. The person who believes money is evil will always find ways to sabotage their own financial progress, while the person who believes money is a tool for freedom and impact will attract it, use it, and multiply it. The person who believes opportunities are scarce will hoard and hesitate, but the one who believes opportunities are abundant will step out boldly, knowing that even if one door closes, another is waiting to open. What separates the average from the extraordinary is not circumstances, but mindset. Fortune is not waiting for the privileged few, it's waiting for the believing few. When you believe bigger, something powerful happens inside of you. Your brain starts to rewire itself. Your actions align with your expectations. Suddenly, the conversations you have, the risks you take, and the energy you bring begin to shift because you've raised your internal standard. A person who believes they're destined for greatness doesn't walk the same, talk the same, or even think the same as a person who believes mediocrity is their fate. And the amazing part, other people can feel it. Belief has a vibration. When you carry yourself with certainty, doors open that would have otherwise stayed shut. People trust you more, opportunities chase you down, and resources show up to support the size of your vision. Here's the hook you can't ignore. The only thing limiting you is the story you've been telling yourself. If you've been saying, I'm just average, I wasn't born with connections, I don't have the talent, that belief is building walls around your potential. But if you dare to change the story, if you dare to believe that you are capable, worthy, and divinely designed for greatness, you will watch those walls crumble, and you will step into a realm where fortune becomes possible. The truth is, nobody else has to believe in you for you to succeed. You don't need the approval of your family, your friends, or society. You need one thing: you must believe it yourself. Belief is contagious. When you carry a vision in your heart and a certainty in your soul, other people can't help but catch it. They'll want to invest in you, support you, and partner with you, not because you convince them with words, but because your belief convinced them with presence. Average people are full of doubt, and doubt repels destiny. Fortune builders are full of faith, and faith attracts fulfillment. So the real question you must ask yourself is this: what do I truly believe about myself, my future, and my potential? Because the size of your belief will always be the ceiling on your life. And if you raise the ceiling, you raise everything else with it. So today you have a choice. You can stay locked in the prison of small belief, where average feels safe but suffocating, or you can break free into the world of abundance, where fortune belongs to those who dare to believe it is theirs. If you're tired of average, the first step is simple: believe bigger. Believe that you were made for more. Believe that abundance is your birthright. And believe that fortune is already waiting for you to claim it. The moment you expand your belief, you expand your life. Most people never reach the life they were created to live because they don't have a vision that excites them enough to pull them forward. They wake up, go through the motions, and settle for a routine that keeps them comfortable but never fulfilled. Average people live by what they see, but people of fortune live by what they envision. Vision is the seed of destiny, and without it, you wander aimlessly through life, reacting to circumstances instead of creating them. If you don't have a vision for your future, you'll end up living inside someone else's. Here's the reality: vision is not just about setting goals. Goals are tasks you can check off a list. Vision is the picture of the life you are relentlessly moving toward. It's the fire in your imagination that makes the grind worthwhile. A person with vision can endure setbacks because they know where they're going. A person without vision gets crushed by the smallest obstacle because they have nothing pulling them forward. That's why the size of your vision determines the size of your future. If your vision is small, your life will stay small. But if your vision is massive, your life will stretch to match it. Think about it this way. If you're driving on a foggy road and can only see 5 feet ahead, you're going to drive slowly, cautiously, and without confidence. But if the fog clears and you can see the horizon, suddenly you accelerate with confidence because you know where the road leads. That's what vision does. It clears the fog of average living and shows you the horizon of abundance. The clearer and more compelling your vision is, the faster and more boldly you will move toward it. And here's a hook you cannot ignore. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because their vision is too weak to sustain their effort. They start businesses with no bigger purpose than making money. So when the money doesn't show up quickly, they quit. They pursue careers that look good on the outside, but don't align with a meaningful vision, so they burn out. But when your vision is strong enough, nothing can stop you. Challenges don't break you, they build you. Rejections don't discourage you, they refine you. Delays don't defeat you, they prepare you. Vision gives meaning to the struggle and turns obstacles into stepping stones. A compelling vision also creates alignment. When you know where you're going, you stop wasting energy on distractions. You stop chasing every opportunity and start focusing only on the ones that move you toward your future. Vision acts like a filter. It helps you say yes to the right things and no to the wrong things. And here's the powerful part. Once your vision is set, the right people, resources, and opportunities will begin to appear, drawn to the magnetic pull of your clarity. People don't follow average ideas. They follow leaders with compelling visions. If you want to move from average to fortune, you must craft a vision that is bigger than your fears, stronger than your excuses, and louder than your doubts. Write it down. See it in your mind every day until it feels more real than your current reality. Speak it out loud until your words align with your future. Build a vision so exciting that when you wake up in the morning, you can't wait to get to work because you know every small action is moving you closer to that picture in your heart. So let me ask you this. Does your current vision inspire you or bore you? If your vision doesn't scare you a little and excite you a lot, it's not big enough. Because the truth is, fortune is not attracted to average vision. It's attracted to people who dare to see beyond what is and create what could be. The moment you upgrade your vision, you upgrade your life. One of the most dangerous lies average people tell themselves is this: hard work alone will get me there. The truth is, hard work without the right skills will only keep you tired, frustrated, and broke. Skills are the currency of fortune. People are not paid for how many hours they put in. They are paid for the value they bring in those hours. If you want to rise above average, you must become obsessed with increasing your value. And the way you do that is by sharpening your skills. Average people stop learning the moment they leave school. They graduate, they get a job, and they settle into routines that never stretch them again. But people of fortune never stop learning. They study, they practice, they invest in mentors, they immerse themselves in growth because they know the marketplace does not reward effort. It rewards excellence. And excellence is born out of mastery. The sharper your skills, the higher your demand. The higher your demand, the greater your fortune. Think about this. Two people can spend the same 8 hours at work. One makes barely enough to get by, while the other earns 10 times more. Is it because one worked harder? Not necessarily. It's because one person brought a higher level of skill to the table. The marketplace pays for solutions, not time. If you can solve bigger problems, if you can communicate with more clarity, if you can sell with more persuasion, if you can lead with more confidence, you will always be rewarded more than the one who only brings effort without expertise. Here's the hook you need to grab hold of. Every skill you neglect is costing you fortune. Every excuse you make for not learning is stealing from your future. The average person says, I don't have time to learn. But the wealthy person understands that learning is the very thing that buys them more time and more freedom. The average person says, I don't need to get better, I'm good enough. But fortune builders know that good enough is never good enough. They know mastery is the standard because fortune flows to mastery. Skills are not just about making money, they're about multiplying impact. If you learn how to communicate effectively, you don't just make more sales, you change more lives. If you learn leadership, you don't just manage people, you inspire them to become greater than they thought they could be. If you learn financial literacy, you don't just grow your wealth, you create generational transformation. Every skill you sharpen doesn't just elevate your income, it elevates your influence. And let me be clear, skills are not reserved for the talented. Skills can be learned, developed, and multiplied by anyone willing to put in the practice. The problem is, most people want the result without the repetition. They want the spotlight without the sweat. But fortune doesn't work that way. Fortune hides in repetition. It hides in discipline. It hides in the unseen hours you spend mastering your craft while everyone else is distracted by comfort. So ask yourself right now, what skills are you currently mastering that will make you invaluable in the marketplace? Are you learning how to sell? Are you learning how to persuade? Are you learning how to solve bigger problems? Because here's the truth, the more valuable you make yourself, the more fortune will chase you down. You don't have to chase money when money starts chasing your value. Your future will not be determined by luck or chance. It will be determined by the skills you decide to sharpen and the ones you decide to ignore. The marketplace is always watching, always measuring, always rewarding the ones who show up with mastery. And when you commit to building skills that solve problems others can't, you will find yourself moving from average to extraordinary, from scarcity to abundance, and from survival to fortune. One of the biggest differences between people who remain average and people who create fortune is how they respond to the idea of action. Average people live in hesitation. They overthink, they overanalyze, They wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions. And because they're waiting for perfect, they end up doing nothing at all. But here's the truth you've got to grab with both hands. Fortune doesn't favor the hesitant, it favors the bold. Boldness, not hesitation, is the catalyst that transforms possibility into reality. Every dream you've ever had, every goal you've ever written down, every vision you've carried in your heart, it's all worthless without action. Action is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. You can sit around and talk about your vision. You can pray about your vision. You can plan your vision. But until you move, until you execute, until you take that first bold step, your vision is nothing more than a fantasy. Action is the price you pay for turning imagination into manifestation. Here's a hook you cannot ignore. Success does not come to the person who knows the most. It comes to the person who does the most with what they know. There are countless average people sitting on brilliant ideas, waiting for the stars to align, while someone else with half the knowledge and half the resources takes bold, imperfect action and wins. It's not the smartest or the most talented who succeed. It's the ones who dare to move forward despite the uncertainty. Taking action doesn't mean you won't fail. In fact, failure is part of the process. But average people let failure paralyze them, while people of fortune let failure instruct them. Every action, whether it leads to success or failure, moves you forward. Failure teaches, failure sharpens, failure prepares you for the next step. The real failure is not in falling down, it's in refusing to move at all. Action is progress, and progress compounds into fortune. Think about a farmer. He doesn't sit around waiting for the perfect weather to plant seeds. He plants in faith, knowing that not every seed will take root, but enough will if he keeps planting. That's the essence of fortune. You've got to be willing to act even when conditions aren't perfect. You've got to plant water and nurture your seeds even when you don't see instant results. Because the harvest never comes to the person who hesitates. It comes to the one who plants boldly and consistently. Most people get stuck in the trap of preparation. They say, I'll start when I'm ready. But here's the hard truth. You'll never feel completely ready. Readiness comes after you act, not before. Fortune doesn't show up for those who wait. It shows up for those who step into the unknown and figure it out along the way. Clarity comes from movement. Confidence comes from momentum. The longer you wait, the more your opportunity window shrinks and the more your destiny decays. And let me tell you this, opportunities don't last forever. They have an expiration date. When you hesitate, you lose momentum, you lose timing, and sometimes you lose the very chance you were praying for. Bold action keeps the doors of opportunity open. Hesitation closes them. The people you admire, the leaders who inspire you, the ones who seem unstoppable, they're not superhuman. They simply made a decision to act while others waited. So the question is not whether you're capable, talented, or deserving. You are. The real question is, will you move? Will you step out even when you don't have all the answers? Will you take bold action even when fear whispers in your ear? Because fortune is waiting on the other side of your action, not your hesitation. Every second you delay is a second you deny yourself the future you were designed to live. The difference between average and fortune doesn't come down to one big breakthrough. It comes down to the daily disciplines that are repeated long enough to create results that can't be ignored. Most people want instant success. They want the harvest without planting, the reward without the routine, the victory without the repetition. But fortune is not built in a day, it is built daily. Consistency is the compound interest of success. What you do over and over again will always outweigh what you do once in a while. Average people quit when it gets uncomfortable. They show up for a little while, they put in some effort, but the moment it gets hard or boring, they back away. And that's why they stay stuck. But people of fortune understand that greatness is not a one-time event. It's the product of relentless persistence. They know that when the excitement wears off, discipline has to take over. Because fortune doesn't reward the person who starts strong. It rewards the one who finishes stronger. Here's the hook that will grab you. The small things you do daily are shaping your destiny far more than the big things you do occasionally. One workout won't change your health, but working out consistently will transform your body. One sales call won't build your business, but making calls every day will create momentum that builds empires. One prayer won't change your spirit, but daily connection with God will change the way you live. Consistency is the multiplier that turns small actions into massive outcomes. The reason consistency is so powerful is because it compounds. Just like money invested grows with compound interest. Your effort invested daily grows in impact. The book you read today adds a little wisdom. The skill you practice today adds a little ability. The step you take today adds a little momentum. One day may not look like much, but string those days together, and suddenly your life is unrecognizable. People will look at your success and call it luck, but you will know it was consistency all along. Most people underestimate the cost of inconsistency. Every time you quit and restart, you lose momentum, you lose credibility, and you lose time. Imagine pushing a heavy rock up a hill. It takes tremendous effort to get it moving. But if you stop halfway, that rock rolls back down, and you have to start all over again. That's what inconsistency does. It steals your progress and makes you start from scratch. Consistency, on the other hand, keeps the rock moving until momentum takes over, and the results begin to roll in almost effortlessly. The truth is, consistency is not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's not flashy. But it is the secret sauce behind every fortune. It's waking up early when you don't feel like it. It's practicing your craft when nobody is watching. It's showing up for your business when no one is applauding. Fortune comes to those who are willing to be faithful in the dark so that one day they can shine in the light. And here's another hook. Consistency builds trust. People don't trust what you do once. They trust what you do continually. Clients, customers, partners, even your family. They are all watching not for what you say you'll do, but for what you consistently deliver. Your consistency is your credibility. And when you become someone who can be trusted to show up, opportunities will open to you that remain closed to the inconsistent. So ask yourself, are your habits aligned with the future you want? Because fortune doesn't come from what you occasionally do when you're motivated. It comes from what you repeatedly do when you don't feel like it. Motivation starts you, but consistency sustains you. And when you decide to keep showing up day after day, regardless of how you feel, you tap into a power that average people will never understand. Consistency is what transforms action into lifestyle and lifestyle into legacy. When you commit to it, you don't just change your results. You change who you are becoming. And when who you are changes, fortune is inevitable.